Morning. Sorry, guys, I ran a bit late. I thought I had more time to go and do all the necessary downstairs, but sorry, you guys had to wait. uh, Following from the hospital. Oh my goodness, Olaf, that is not good. I hope you're going to enjoy this live stream then as well, man. Feel better soon. I hope you're okay and will be okay. Morning, Neil. Morning, Peter. Morning, Tommy, William. Yeah, sorry guys, I didn't realize the time flew so fast by me, because what happened was I saw I had about 20 minutes left, and I thought, well, go downstairs, finish what you need to do, and come back, and I ran out of time. So, morning Peter, I see you've joined me here. I had to excuse myself out of the top room here in Discord, so sorry to those guys. Apologies, but it obviously happened quite fast now, so yeah. Life's exciting some days, huh? So, I've just connected on Avaya. I think everybody's left already. Yeah. I'm the last ox in the kraal, yeah. I think we'll check now. Let's have a look, see what everybody tells us. It says Anthony is still around here somewhere. This is 2020, by the way, as you guys can see, so there's no labels. I can't even see. Even if he was there, I wouldn't know. So anyway, let's forget about that then. I've done most of the setup and everything. I'm literally going to start the APU now and get going. So no more time wasted. The other guys, by the way, they are all flying the South African tour. The inaugural tour is what we called it here for the VA, it seems. Quite a few guys are involved with that. So yesterday at one point I had a few minutes spare, and I actually started setting up all the tours, from scratch, checking all the routes, because some of those routes did change. So if you guys are part of the VA, you can actually go fly some of those tours already, you'll see. Let me put it on screen, and the other guys can also see anyway. Let's quickly duplicate this tab and grab the edge over there. Right, so if we go to our tours, right, the high altitude challenge tour is open. I gave it a lot of time, so that will expire 31st of December 24. The inaugural tour has got 1 year and a few months, right, on it, so it's not all the way to December. But anyway, those two tours are available. The high altitude challenge tour, I just want to quickly mention to you guys, if we look at the map, let's just take that one. Might be a good way to see it better. All right, so what happens here is most of these airports are like either 8,000 or 10,000 or 12,000 feet in the air, and then with density altitude you have to obviously add a few feet in there. Noob Hunter, it's 5 a.m. Sorry, I just noticed your message there. Enjoy your sleep. The video will be up later, so you're welcome to have a look. Good morning, Rob. Okay, so back to the challenge tour. One of the things that Zibo put into the Zibo mod, so Zibo being Lubos, the guy who invented the Zibo, right? He put all kinds of fancy, more advanced things, like the aircraft actually reacts to density altitude in the Zibo mod, okay? And we've been trying to teach a lot of guys over the years to actually use it correctly and things like that. And this is then what happened. The natural, evolution in the story was we created a tour to force people to think about using density altitude in their takeoff calculations. Because I think most simmers get to an airport, they sit here like I'm sitting, they click a few buttons, they push back, they start the engines and they go. They don't think about the more interesting, more advanced things in the aviation world, like density altitude. Okay, so while we were doing this tour, I was showing the guys how to handle it in the old Zibo, and then one day Zibo sends me this private message and he says to me, I must test something for him. And those of you that do have the Zibo mod, I think it's somewhere here. There's a button that you need to press. And effectively, it gives you, let me just take this other thing off the screen. It's somewhere here, I think, if I remember correctly. It literally gives you a different pressurization model. And it simulates the real world high altitude model that is used in those areas in the real world. You typically find it on the 600, 700s, and if there's an 800, it will be there as well. So when you operate in these areas, you have to click that one because it bypasses the normal standard pressurization system and then uses the high altitude one, which is absolutely wonderful. Because now one of the things that does happen at altitude is pilots usually wear oxygen on the ground already. It's a mandatory requirement, and there's certain differentials in the aircraft versus outside in the atmospherics that have to equalize before you can open the doors. There's a whole bunch of things that go through. So if you ever wanted to go challenge yourself, go do this tour. This is what it was designed for. So anyway, he sent me this. I tested it, and obviously it's now become part of the Zibo mod. It is an option in the EFB. So if you don't have that button, just go look for it. It will be in the Zibo EFB. And now I can't show it because this is not the Zibo. But it's there. And then you guys can go have fun, because all of a sudden the dynamics will change. There's a lot of calculation changes and differences. And you've got to be more lightweight than not, to be able to take off. You've got to use flaps 10 sometimes. You can't use flaps 15 because the drag versus the lift benefit, inverts, and then you will also kill yourself. So, there's a whole bunch of things that need to take into consideration, and the same goes for the landing. It's not just a straightforward, ooh, there we go, let's go land there. One of the challenges here is some of these airports don't actually have the standard nav 8, so you are left having to fly it down, so you can't, chase the magenta line and the automation the whole time. You have to actually fly it, and to fly an aircraft at the density altitude and maneuver it successfully when you're sitting at like 12 or 13,000 foot, but the ground is like 500 foot below you. I promise you, it's a challenge, and if you're up for it, this is a place to go and try it, test it. So that tour is available, and those are the legs, 11 of them. It's going to put air on your chest if you don't have, I promise. It's one of those things. Then our inaugural tour, that was just something I brought over, obviously, from the old system as well. So there's like 14 legs, and it will take you all over the Southern African region. So you start in Joburg and you end in Joburg, and you fly kind of anti-clockwise, to go have a look, see what Southern Africa is all about. I think Kenya is not Southern Africa anymore, but you get the idea. It's down here. I mean, most simmers will fly in Europe all their lives, or in Americas all their lives, or South America, one of these places, and they don't necessarily go fly around. So I want to ask you, if you've got time and stuff, just go try it, see what the rest of the world looks like. And that was just a quick intro, just to tell you that's what some of the other guys are busy doing, because we obviously need to test it and to make sure that you can log your routes, number one, and number two, that you get your reward at the end. That's very important. So the guys are busy. Morning, Christer and Rab. Thank you for joining me here in Discord.
Morning, Nico.
Morning. Morning, Rab.
Morning, Chrysler.
I played around a little bit with my PMDG, so when it starts up, it doesn't have by default the stairs waiting for me with the door open now. So now I have to actually test buttons and make it work. So now I can call the jetway and all kinds of things here from the FMC. I think I'm ready to go. Let's press our button.
Cockpit to ground. Go ahead. We've been cleared for pushback and start straight back. Roger that.
Hello, Christian.
Straight back.
Christian, click on the plus sign next to Skymatix. You might have just minimized it. I didn't change anything and you still have all your access rights. So you're more than welcome to join me. Just click on the plus sign next to Skymatix stream channels. On the left-hand side, you'll see next to the word. And then it should open all the rooms for you again. I don't know why. A lot of people, even Uncle John the other day said to me, it's like, can't see you. Where are you? That's just that plus sign. Well, I've just dragged you. I promise I didn't change anything, Christian. Just click the little plus sign on the left-hand side of Skymatix stream channels. You should see all the stuff opening up for you.
Well, how's the weather in Copenhagen?
Love it, love it. Snow on the ground, beautiful skies, nice little wispy clouds. Not a problem. It's really nice over here.
Just like real life, Nico.
Good.
Yes. Amazing.
Christian, just remember we've got push to talk in this room, because I see your mic is muted, just FYI. Look, okay, my volume was a bit low. I'm not sure if this person told me to release the parking brakes yet or not, so I'm just going to release it and see what happens. Because it's like nothing happened.
Cockpit to ground.
Okay. Try again.
Go ahead. We've been cleared for pushback and start.
No, Tommy, no. Think about it logically. You have to disable the real weather in X-Plane, otherwise it's going to conflict with the other real weather. So you have to put the X-Plane into custom weather or manual weather or whatever they call it.
Test one.
Can hear you.
Oh, fantastic. Sorry, brother. Sorry. Thank you for allowing me in.
No, yeah, this place belongs to you, you know that. Not a problem. I've had quite a few guys ask me permission. I'm going to use it as an example, Christian, to come into rooms and things like that. I hope you don't mind. But in the last 2-3 days, I don't know where the notion comes from that only certain people are allowed and things like that. If you're a member of the server, you come and go wherever you're allowed. The rooms where you're not allowed, you won't even see them, I promise you. The development rooms and stuff like for Zebo and so on. You won't even see it. So don't let that worry you. If you can see it, you can come in. If you can't see it, click the plus next to the word on the left-hand side of the channel. Okay, that channel name. That's it.
This must be my limited knowledge in IT, but thank you so much. Appreciate it.
No worries. Set parking. Right.
Brake set.
Yeah, I was just following up on the. I was doing a few flights in winter operations on the PMDG MS 2020. I must say it's been interesting. I've been following your notes as well. Also virtual Ryanair policies as well. So yeah, it's been good.
Good. Tommy, all you need to do is you set it to the manual weather, all right, and you leave it. Then, worst case scenario, if the active sky does not update your weather, you go to debug. You'll see on the menu in active sky, on the left-hand side is a menu, little icons. One of them is debug. You click debug, and then you'll see there's a refresh button. You click the refresh button, it will re-download and redistribute the weather. The moment that happens, you know active sky is now taking the lead and sorting the thing out for you.
So I hear Active Sky is new now.
Yes,
in
sir.
which is- Sorry.
Yep.
I'm yet to catch up on all the latest news. That's something new.
Yeah, yeah. Look, it's the first
everybody.
version. Hello, Dante. Good morning. Hello, Anthony. Right, yeah, no, Active Sky, that's their first release, okay? So you mustn't hold your breath. Give the guys a chance to, you know, find their feet. It's looking good thus far, but it's not perfect by a long shot, you know? So at least we've got a weather engine that we can rely upon a little bit more than just the default weather, so yeah.
Nico, I found some, maybe somebody has the answer, and I already asked, and one colleague replied. I flew with newest Active Sky XP yesterday, but when you go into the iOS mode or map, it shows different weather than the one read from the Active Sky. Yeah, I have manual mode, but the QNH was matching, but winds didn't match. So there is some difference,
some
and I'm
issues.
not sure.
Yeah. That is not something any one of us can really answer in all fairness or even debate, because that's what Hi-Fi Sim has got their forum for. I think you need to go and show them and explain to them and let them answer you, because they are the only guys that's going to know. You understand? So I don't know what else to
What
say.
do you mean? The Active Sky guys?
You have to go to the Hi-Fi Sim forum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the Active Sky seems to work fine. So just the weather which is understood by X-Plane or read by X-Plane.
That still means that the Active Sky guys need to know about it, because they need to fix it. It's not something we can fix, and I promise it's not something that Laminar can fix, because the Active Sky is injecting the weather. So when they inject their weather or manipulate the weather, their files need to correspond to each other, and it sounds like there's a misfire, there's a missyncing, and because they are the provider, they need to provide the support, because it's their system. You understand?
I will do that.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, the two Laminar and Explain in two places you have different weather in the map for the airport, and in the iOS, so this instrument operating operator system, you see different weather.
Yeah, it's very possible. It's very possible. I mean, I've never been on their beta test team, but I've been on others, which I can't mention due to my NDA, but that is their responsibility. They need to fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, we need to keep on reporting, Steve, they on the stream as well. We need to keep on reporting to these guys, because if we don't, they're not going to know, and then they're going to get into a false sense of security, you know, oh, we've accomplished something when they haven't. You know, we've been testing stable approach now, me and 2-3 other guys, including the developer, for a number of days. Now I need to really concentrate here just quickly. Right, and it's the same there. You make a change, you test it. You make a change, you test it, and that's how you iron out the problems. That's how we do it in the Zebo as well. And they now know about, Active Sky knows about the issue that they have. Which one do I take now? I think I need to go straight and then left. Yes. Okay. They know about the speed tape. If you fly in Active Sky XP now, you'll see, I think it's flight level 230 or somewhere, or 320, I can't remember, might be dyslexic now. There's a hop, a big difference, a jump in your barometric pressure, and you know that was reported. They know about it, they've acknowledged it, and now they can go fix it. You know, so pretty soon we're going to start seeing little updates come through.
Nico, has the pitch been resolved after takeoff? Do you know?
A long time ago already. Long.
Okay, because I was told there's some sort of workaround where you, with the trim, whatever you get in the FMC, reduce it by
No,
1 notch or something.
no. I think first of all, it's somebody that's guessing, and it might work for them in their scenario. And then you've got to ask your question: what scenario is it that they have? Did they set the ZIBO up correctly? Because 9 out of 10 times people don't set the ZIBO up correctly. So now they're dealing with false information, giving them a false positive, giving them something to think about and to have to counter, which they shouldn't have if they just installed it correctly in the beginning. I've had real pilots come in here, captains, that tell me things are wrong, and then I show them and they go, oh, we didn't set it up correctly, you know. So it's difficult. There are literally, I would say, 5 people on Earth that will give you official answers when it comes to the ZIBO. ZIBO himself, Twixter, me, Mac, and Paul. That's us 5 guys. You know, and unless we tell you something, then it doesn't exist. Then it's the figment of someone's imagination, or, like I said, they see something and they report truthfully. They're not lying, but it's based upon false information because of an incorrect setup. You know, so difficult to say, Christian.
It must have been an old video, but it's one of the latest videos from Flight Data Sim. He mentions there's a pitch trim issue after takeoff. So that must be an old video then.
I don't know. You'll have to send me the link because I can always ask him. Oh, I forgot to mention his name. So there's 6 people. I mean, I trust him. He's one of the good guys. I can trust what he says too. So send me the link and then we do an informed check-up on it, and I can even ask him about it, you know, if need be. But I don't know of anything like that at this time.
No problem. No problem. The one, the NDB approach is one of his latest videos, but I'll send you to DM. That's fine.
Yeah, cool. Sam, we can't forget old Sam there. Very important. Right, let's go. Okay.
Airspeed's alive.
It started yesterday. I found it in Explainer, so my rudders are extremely sensitive again, and I forgot to recalibrate them in Windows. Damn it. I'm literally just touching them and then look at what it does. Very sensitive.
Positive rate of climb.
And gear up. Yeah, what happened, sorry Steve, in terms of the subs here on the channel, in the beginning, a lot of guys subscribed, right? And I had a wrong setting. Genuinely, I made a mistake, okay? Because I don't see my channel as being, adults only. We don't sit and swear and smoke weed and do all kinds of drugs on the stream, you understand? So it's not supposed to be anything other than child safe. But the way that the setting works in YouTube is you cannot say it's safe for children without killing a lot of the functions, and the notification is linked to that. You cannot get notifications on child safe only videos. It has to be open. So what they did was, there's another setting now that had to come into play, but it's they play with words, and unless you really go and sit and think with this wordplay that these guys use, you're not going to understand what they say. So basically my setting now says it's not for children, but it's safe for children, okay? And now that setting is in play, all the old guys that subscribed initially have to unsubscribe and resubscribe, because they have to basically trip the little cookie or whatever it is, whatever you want to call it. That setting needs to be reset, and that's the only way to do it. So go figure. Good old YouTube, like you say. Heck, I forgot a lot of things here. Talking too much, man. I don't even have my lights in the correct place. But goddamn.
Yeah, it was something relating to the nose coming up by itself just before takeoff, I believe.
Yeah, look, he's reported the that problem a few times in the past, but I haven't heard him lately. I know he's reported that a few times.
Okay.
But I said I don't have it at this time. Honestly, don't.
And also we need to find out under what circumstances.
Yes.
We need to be able to reproduce it also.
Yes. Because remember, Christo, you're very correct. Remember, when I fly the Zibo, I purposefully move my cargo. When your average simmer, and I haven't seen Flight to Sim actually do this either. When normal people fly, they just get in, they put the load and they go. So what happens is they've got a more stable takeoff CG versus a more stable landing CG, but obviously the CG is in a different position. So it might be the way that I do it, I've put more weight on the front wheel. Something to that effect. I don't know, I'm guessing now because, practically I actually move cargo to the back. So whether that has got something to do with it, I don't know. We'll have to check. We'll have to check.
Yeah, exactly.
He puts his payload and then passengers. That's what he does.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the problem, because you can't do that.
Well,
you can, if you are a standard simmer, you can put in the payload and that's it.
Yeah.
And the Zibo distribute itself, but that doesn't mean that it's actually correct,
Yeah.
And we must be able. It's one way of doing it, and we must be able to reproduce it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the question is, why can't we do it if it's allowed?
No, you can, but then you've got to be able to handle the consequences. It's cause and effect, okay? What is this other guy, Emmanuel, that does the flight test for PMDG? What's his channel?
737 NG driver.
That's it. I spoke to him the other day, okay? And one of the things he was showing everybody on the stream that he was doing is how to do the loading. And I made a comment and I said, well, you can just go and add the zero fuel weight. Now, if you do that, you always have the same kind of response because your CG is always going to be in a similar place. You understand? And he said to me, now what's the fun in that? Sometimes you want the CG a little bit forward because it changes the flight characteristics. Sometimes you want the CG a little bit back to change the flight characteristics, So we've each got our own way of loading things. Now, me, being lazy, I go and I just go to the load page and I put my zero fuel weight in and I let the PMDG distribute my weights. Just so with the Zibo, I go into payload, I put it in, it distributes it, but I go one step further and I move some of the cargo to the back, like 500 kilograms, because then I have a more stable landing CG. You understand? So we've all got our little idiosyncrasies and little tricks that we employ. Some people like one, some people don't like one. But the cause and effect is, if your CG is too far back, your nose will tend to lift during the takeoff roll. You understand?
And that's what I do, Nico. And that's what I do. I put all my cargo in the back. Everything.
Yeah.
And I can't see any tendency for a nose lift. I can't.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I think that's a good strategy. But the thing is, we're all running different simulators. We're using Microsoft 2020. Explain. Is there a documentation, Nico, that we can refer to? And I know you've done your correct documentation how to load the Zibo, but it's specifically focusing on Explain. Is there something that we can, like a generic thing we can use both for Microsoft 20 and Explain?
I don't know.
There's no EFB for the PMDG.
Yes. Well, not yet. They are working on it, so we must just give them a chance to sort that out. Christian, if you read my Zibo stuff, okay, it's Boeing based. So you need to understand the principle. Forget the fact that it is now talking about the Zibo. Okay, the only structural difference. If we were talking on, let's say for instance, this is now real world. We pretend this is real world. You go to Boeing and I go to Boeing. I say I want the 189 seater. You say you want the 184 seater. So you are copying PMDG. I'm copying the Zibo. Okay, the principle of the loading is going to be the same because the actual structure of the aircraft, the physical size, length, width, breadth, sorry, my bad English, okay, does not change. It's the internals that change. So your empty operating weight is going to be different because of the seating and the amount of toilets and whatever you want to put in there. Okay, so the principle is what you need to understand. If you, let me go to this thing. You go to your FS actions and your payload. The fact that the payload here, sorry, let me stream here for you guys locally, then you don't have the delay. Join me here on my stream here in Discord, okay? If you're in Discord. Right, so the only difference between the ZEBO and the PMDG when you look at this page is the one is done on the FMC and the other one is done on the EFB. But they both have the facility to change the cargo and the passenger numbers. And the other difference is ZEBO does not allow you to change the zero fuel weight. Okay, where the PMDG allows you to input the zero fuel weight and then it distributes everything there automatically. So in ZEBO, you put your passengers, your payload, which will include passengers and cargo, and the ZEBO goes and distributes those things. What did I do wrong now? Oh, yeah, I'm an idiot. I apologize, I forgot to set that and that. So technically, we were supposed to not even have taken off because the APU would have blown out. Oh, crap. There we go. Okay, it should equalize itself right now again. So Christian, again, we're coming back to where the CG is going to be. There's your takeoff CG, right? It's all about the principle. Once you understand the principle of moving things forward and backwards and things like that, it doesn't matter which aircraft you use. It's a question of going and playing with it and trying to replicate it, because your takeoff CG, your zero fuel weight, all those things are on the tablet as well. So if you go and play with the figures here versus the figures there, you always look at where your CG is going to be. Okay, and then you can determine if you put your CG forward or backwards what you will get. So it's unfortunately
I just put the zero fuel weight.
You see,
and that distributes it automatically on the PMDG.
Exactly. It's like putting a payload in the ZEBO. Exactly. The only difference is Emmanuel came back to me and said, "No, what's the fun in that?" And he had a point because now I'm flying the PMDG, and every time I'm going to have the same kind of characteristics because this thing is going to balance to a certain point every time. Whereas if you go and manually change the cargo forwards and backwards, you're going to manipulate the CG and you're going to get a different feel of it. But how many guys really want to simulate to that level? Not many guys do that. Anyway, if they do, good luck.
Have you noticed a freeze on the FMC, but everything else works? Like your all instruments panels freeze, but the actual sim works perfectly fine.
I've had it in both PMDG and ZEBO. Which one are you referring to?
I'm referring to Microsoft 2020.
Yeah, I've had it.
Public version. Basically, ATC asked me to level change to an odd level, which I've done. I pressed level change. The whole instrument panel froze. Everything froze, but the sim itself was running fine. Clouds moving. I can control the airplane, but everything on the instruments was absolutely frozen.
I've had it. I've even had it on stream. There was a flight we did from Las Vegas down to San Diego one evening, and then as luck would have it, we had a power failure, so I couldn't finish it. But I literally hand flew this PMDG from top of descent down to maybe 10 or 12,000 foot, and then we lost power. So it has happened, but for me, and this is just my opinion, I can't give you any facts to corroborate this, but what happened was I was on the Microsoft beta for the longest time, and I got off of it because of all the latest issues we had with PMDG not being able to use the betas. So I exited from the Microsoft 2020 beta releases completely. I'm not involved with it anymore.
Neither am I.
Yeah, so and that was the only way I could stop it from doing it, because yes, it happened many times.
Yeah, I've noticed 737 drive and NG Drive also had it as well. I noticed one of the last streams, but I'm not in the beta. I'm on the public release version. I got the latest update for PMDG 2020. No beta, but it just froze. Again, just updating the FMC, just absolutely. The instruments froze as he was ascending, but everything else was working fine. The only thing that was working was the compass. That was the only thing working.
Yeah, you see. Yeah, well, that's when you hand fly, try your best. But anyway, listen, go to the PMDG forum and go complain. Put it on there. I don't go to their forum because I don't want my name on that forum at this point in time. So I just stay off it. I go and read, but I don't post, but you're welcome to go and chat with them there. No, they can help you.
I asked 737 NG driver. He said, yeah, there's no answer. He actually messaged one of the developers via WhatsApp.
Okay.
And he said, no idea. So that was his answer.
Okay. Yeah, you see, things happen.
It must be something that, something new that PMDG is not aware of. So it's something new.
Hello, Giuliano.
In case you received that issue, if you found any work around it, but there's apparently just bring it down with ATC help. So I haven't used Explain for a good 3 months, mainly because of the flak I received from ATC down under about level not being accurate. Like I was flying 240 and he said, oh, you're flying 230.5 or something like that. And I just switched to Microsoft. Since then it was fine, but I'm monitoring the development of that, but I'm yet to come back. I've got everything, but I'm not up to speed to that, so maybe you can give me a crash course in the next 2 minutes.
It's very simple. Listen carefully. Okay. The timestamp now is 37 minutes and 20 seconds. Okay, so if you need to come back to the stream.
Yeah.
In Explain currently, you need to be on the latest Explain beta. So it's Explain 12.04 R3. That's the latest version. Yeah, I had to think about that. Okay. There was a split between old Explain and new Explain 1 or 2 versions ago. You cannot use the old Zibo on the new system, and you cannot use the new Zibo on the old system. Okay, so you have to be on the latest beta and the latest Zibo 4.2, unless Zibo brings out the new one today. Right? If he releases a new one today, then obviously that will be the new one. So it will be 4.3 then. But unless you do that, you're going to have endless issues. Okay. In terms of the weather, the default real weather in Explain, it's still a mess. You still need Antonio's NOAA weather plugin so that you can see what the actual QNH is in the sim versus what VATSIM and IVAO sees, and you need to use your own version of QNH in your plane as reported. Now with Active Sky XP, I don't find that anymore. Active Sky puts the weather in. I've got the same QNH or altimeter setting for the Americans as what VATSIM and IVAO has. You understand? So those are the 3 big things you need to do and know about.
I see. Thank you.
The rest, it's fine.
Live weather? An Active Sky live weather is working? Or is it manual?
No. You switch your Explain on manual weather because you can't have 2 weather engines. They will clash with each other. So Explain goes to manual. Active Sky goes to your live weather, right? So Active Sky then puts the weather in there. They obviously have issues. There are quite a few reports on their forum already. They know about the fluctuation in the actual barometric pressure. They know about issues with that. So you'll fly, and the Zibo is perfectly stable. It handles it quite nicely. But one moment you're at, let's say you felt for 31,000. The next moment you're at 31.5. Then you're at, 35. And it jumps up and down. It's crazy, and then it happens in cruise and in the descent, where that altimeter tape on the right hand side of your PFD just goes up and down, up and down. It's crazy, it's stupid. But now they know about it, they can fix it.
Thank you. Appreciate the update. Appreciate it. Thank you.
No worries.
Nico,
Yes.
why are your config warning
That's-
lighting up?
It's the pressurization system. I forgot to switch it on. It needs to equalize now. It's going to take a while, if even.
Okay.
I don't think they simulate the blackouts like we do, and I don't think this thing is going to work, but you know, in Gazebo it does, so I'm just ignoring it. I just clicked my master caution, but it's because I was talking too much, Krister, and I took off without the proper configuration here.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
Just remember to set it for arrival.
Uncle Johnny, you're too quiet. We can't hear you. Say again.
I said, just don't forget to set up for the arrival.
Oh, no. Mens kat, dankie, Rein. Ooh, I just got the nicest, huge glass of iced coffee. Ooh. Wow. Yeah, wing it. No one will die. That's fine. Giuliano, I tried to say good morning to you earlier. I don't know if you heard me, but anyway, good morning again. And Jose, good morning to you too. Wow, the moment I go outside, my UPS starts moaning. It draws so much power, it's unbelievable.
Are you not shedding?
No, Anthony, what I do, we might be, I don't even know. What I do is I've got a little inverter in between me and the solar to regulate my power consumption. You understand? And what happens is it allows me a roughly 800 watt of power for my office here. And the funny thing is there are certain things that we can and certain things we can't do. So currently, because of the atmospheric temperature here, it's very warm.
Chris donated $20 Australian through SuperChat. Thank you for the explanation and assistance.
You're welcome, Christian, and thank you for the tip, buddy, as always. So, Anthony, I've got a fan running here. And the fan, in conjunction now with the two computers plus the Wi-Fi and the fiber connection, you know, basically teeters around 750 watts, which then means when I do something like this and the system, my computer, all of a sudden needs to pull a little bit more power to go and render the new scene. It kind of trips, goes over the 800 watt, and then it starts beeping, telling me, you know, we're using a bit too much. Now it's already stopped. It's for a few seconds. We lost autopilot, but now what now? Go back. So yeah, that's what happens. And during the loading of 2020 as well, it uses much more power than X-Plane does. In X-Plane, I get it sometime, but hardly ever. Compared to 2020, this thing uses a lot of power from your system.
So how much time does it allow you to switch over if when it's on?
Anthony, sorry, give me a little bit more information to answer you correctly, because there's two things I can answer you.
No, let's say for instance you weren't connected to the solar.
Yeah.
Or it wasn't on.
Yeah.
How long would that UPS keep you going?
At this point in time, about 30 seconds, because the battery is gone. That battery is dead. In the beginning, when you put the battery in, it's one of these deep cycle 100 amp hour batteries. It would give us like 2 hours easy. But it's like 2 years in now, and it's dead. We need a new battery. But I'm not going to spend money on it because of the solar. I mean, the solar is in the background. So I literally just use it to regulate the power because I don't want to take too much power and then get into trouble. The solar system is a 16 kilowatt system. It's quite capable of running this whole house, as well as the neighbors, easy. But I don't want to, grab the whole hand, the arm, and the body when I'm offered the little pinky,
Yeah, that's fine.
So anyway, if it beeps too long, or it beeps like a second or a third time, because it beeps, then it stops, then it beeps, and it stops, kind of a thing, right? If it beeps too long, I just go switch the fan off, and then I just bake a little bit, until I can't, and then I go put it back on, or I change the view, and then the sim kind of releases the power requirement from the system again, and tell you what, I can't wait for the weather to start working in 2020. So we have the weather radar and things like that. But in the interim, I use XEnviro 2020. I'm really happy with it because there, again, I've got more control over things like the weather at the destination. I can actually see it. I can actually go and do a search. Oh, let's click. That's the wrong way. Is it EFHK? You see, now I can pick up on my meter. In default 2020, you can't do this unless, I think now with this new plugin, this flow, this thing, on the higher end one, mine is the middle one, the first payware version. There's a more expensive one with more features. I think there you can do a meter search, but otherwise you can't. That's a neat feature I like about the XEnviro as well.
You and I are the only two flying, Nick.
Looks like it, my friend. Looks like it.
No, I'm behind you, John.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Now we look. Maybe I've spoken too soon. Yes, we're three guys. It's you, me, and Anthony.
You're not on ICOs, are you?
No, because I don't want to upset where I am in my tour.
Okay.
So I'm thinking of actually logging a manual pirate for this flight.
Okay.
Go for it.
Just fill in all the blanks, please.
Yep. Nice thing about Ivea, it's got a tracker, so you can also get your takeoff time, speed, and all that from there as well.
Nice. Right, well, we're almost at the edge here, and then it's going to be water all over. Crossing a huge piece of water here. That's obviously me over there. There's not much going to be visible except water until we reach the coast over there. I see my pressurization system is equalized now, so everybody's happy. No one's going to die.
I'm so happy, Nico. I would like to stay alive.
Oh yes, for sure. Even just if it was for the wife and the children's sake, you know. I've got that
Exactly.
same feeling.
You're not flying on board with Nico, are you, Krista?
I'm sorry, Uncle John.
You know, he's taking jump seat with me, Uncle John.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, he's here in the jump seat. Nice guy, I must tell you, now that I've met him. Hey, Krista.
Yeah, they're so funny, guys. Now I'm doing my first leg in the inauguration tour. I had already taken off before. And this morning I was doing a test flight for my for the Challenger tour. It was really fun. I put the stream here in Discord.
I saw. Hey, Kev.
Nico, what's your opinion on the new AI-generated technology with aviation? Is that helping our industry?
I don't know, man. I haven't really paid attention. The one thing I'm scared of is losing my job. You know, have an AI piece of code fly my plane when I'm supposed to fly it. I won't like that.
Yeah, the world is changing, isn't it?
It's like these big drones that you can now climb into and fly, right? They give you the artificial horizon and your normal stats you get on the six-pack kind of a thing, right? But there's no controls. You have to pre-program the flight in your smartphone or on the tablet, and then it just flies it for you. Where's the fun in that? And it's like, no, man.
I think the scariest thing about it is we're not prepared and we're not ready for it.
It's moving too fast. You're right.
I mean, like we're introducing. I don't know if you have that in South Africa, but there's drone pizzas delivering. It's replacing delivery drones.
Mm-mm.
It's yeah, lost for words.
Yeah, but I believe the AI is helpful, yes, but making judgment, that's a completely different story.
Mm.
And the AI is simply put not up to that task. They can't do that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be foolish to ignore this technology. I think we should use it to our advantage, but we should be mindful and be cautious. But at the same time, we should embrace it. If you know what I mean.
Now, the problem with AI that I've already seen in the real world, I've tested this a few times. I actually read a lot about it, right? Is when they started using it in court in America. They've actually trialed it already. I'm not sure if it's still running, but during the trial period, the judge was an AI piece of software. And in a scenario like that, there is no emotion. There's only the letter of the law. And if you kill somebody, it's difficult to argue self-defense because the AI does not care. You understand? So you're in for bad judgments in the beginning. It's going to ruin people's lives until this stupid thing can figure out that there are certain circumstances where it's justified, kind of a thing. You know, so that's a stupid thing to do.
But on the other hand, Nico, that kind of discussion is really difficult because more than 95% of all crimes are actually not killings.
I know.
It's
I'm just using
about
an example.
It's about I know. It's about theft and other minor things actually, and that's even worse. Putting in an AI actually, and it is like you say, there are circumstances that you have to judge and validate the situation that has come arised, and I don't believe the AI is up to that task. I don't. I think it's really dangerous in that case. Yeah. And for an aviator, it's a similar thing. It's about getting the feel of the air around you and think ahead. Where on your descent, you already think ahead of your landing phase and stuff like that. And I don't think the AI is actually up to that.
The thing is, in Australia, they're talking about replacing a first officer with AI technology in the FMC for Jetstar, for example. I didn't want to mention that, but just to remove the workload and reduce the costs. So, can you imagine?
Yeah, but that's going to bite. That's going to bite, Christian. It's going to bite hard. Yeah.
Especially now with all the pilots dying so much all of a sudden, you know. I mean, what happens when that captain dies and you're left with only the AI?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What do you do then?
I'm sure there'll be some.
Ask if there's any flight simmers on board.
Yeah. Oh, rad.
Does anyone know?
Yeah.
Has anyone flown the PMDG? Put
yes.
up your hand.
Sorry, no, I'm a Zebra pilot. Anyway, the issue is much broader and wider, you know, because you can also look at drone pilots. I mean, the guys sit in Nevada and they fly the drones in Afghanistan. You know what I'm saying? And that's real time. You can also end up in a scenario like that where you can maybe have a backup of a human that's on the ground, that's got remote control over the aircraft. But I think we're a bit way off on the technology yet. It still needs to come.
Has Linda got any updates from what you heard?
What do you mean?
Linda.
Linda, she updated a few weeks ago, last time. Just go to the Jar Design forum and grab the latest one to make sure you've got the latest.
Well, Jens, it's time for me. I need to go. I'm sorry, Nico. I need to go.
You're welcome, Christer. Thank you for stopping by. Go have fun. Enjoy what you do.
Yeah, I'll be back later this afternoon.
Okay.
Okay. See you
Bye,
guys.
Pastor.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. But
Right, let's start looking at the setup. We've done the basics. Just quickly go in past one. That is so small to read. You have to really zoom in. Talk to you later, Peter. Thanks for stopping by. Oh yes, you know what I didn't do? My descent altitude.
and the bank at 10 degrees above three for flight level 300.
I don't even bother with that because I rely on my VNAV, you know, but yeah,
That's
I
only
hear
if
you.
you're in heading select.
Yeah, in heading select it's important, but not in LNAV, VNAV situation.
I found it quite helpful on the initial approach fix to add manual speed 180 below for the final approach fix, just to give the VNAV profile a bit of heads up to give a nice approach. I'm not sure if that helps for X-plane.
I've been having issues with it, so I don't go and fiddle with it, eh?
You don't feel it? Okay. I've noticed the real world guys do fiddle with it a lot, so especially vertical speed as well, so I'm not sure.
No, I'm not gonna go drive myself crazy trying to pretend to be flying real world. I do it good enough, well enough on the level I do it, so I'm happy.
So for the approach plates, given the angles, I've noticed some angles, the glide slope is different, which doesn't match the FMC. Is that something that X-plane database is an issue, or is it something that...
No, in the Zebra mod you have got two different styles of VNAV. The first one is basic, is the one that we normally use, that PMDG uses, and then the Zebra makes provision for one that's called common. And the common one is more resembling the operations of level change. So you have to manage your speed and your things to keep to your path, and it's more difficult to use than just the basic one. That's why it looks different and feels different in operator. Good morning, Magnus. And Skymatix Pilot. Ooh, that sounds nice. Good morning. That's a good name. Ivan, welcome, Captain. "70 nautical miles per top of descent, gentlemen."
I noticed with anti-ice, you'll have to monitor the progress page if it's below 41 degrees or minus if you're in the clouds. Is that still relevant for us?
Yeah.
Anti-ice?
Yep. Anything beyond minus 40 is totally irrelevant whether you have anti-ice on or not. It makes no difference. It just it consumes more power for no reason.
160 in 20 minutes.
Yeah. Remember, wing anti-ice cannot be used higher than 35,000 feet. So flight level 350 and higher, you can't use wing anti-ice. And 40 degrees centigrade and more on the minus scale. If it goes to 41, 42 minus, you can't use anti-ice anyway.
I thought you can turn it on for maximum 30 seconds.
It depends on the SOP of the company. I've learned that as well now. The wing anti-ice, definitely you cannot use it the whole time. You have to run it 30 seconds or a minute or two. Okay? It won't kill you. But above flight level 350, it will trip your pressurization system. It will suffocate the people at the back. It will trip it. Okay? It's supposed to by design in the real world because it takes too much bleed air. You see, so you have to switch it off.
The practice way is
What?
and practical way is using till entering the runway on the ground, the wing anti-ice, and close while taking off.
No, you don't take off with wing anti-ice. But in the Boeing, there's a fail-safe. So if you forget while you are taxiing, remember there are certain times you have to taxi with wing anti-ice on the ground. If you forget, what happens is during your takeoff roll, it will kick off. It will not take off with that on. It will kick off before you rotate. Or at least it's supposed
good to see you.
Hello.
Hello, welcome, sir. A long time no hear, brother.
Hello, Christian. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm well. Hope you're well. I've been thinking about you.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hope you're well, brother.
Nice to hear about that. Thank you very much. I am making fun. I am same child. What British say? Same shit, different day.
Aye, not on stream.
Are you in stream?
Of course, that's why we're in live on air.
Okay.
What you should say is...
I'm sorry, I was... I suppose that you were in a conversation in private room.
No.
I am so sorry. Same flower, different day.
You can just say, same mess, different toilet.
Yes.
Whatever. Nasty. Hello, Extreme. Welcome.
Look, another thing, if you want to use engine on the ice, I can. Engine anti-ice is better. For Airbus, I'm talking about, Nico.
Yeah.
start it after engine starts on the ground till minus 40 centigrade degree climbing.
Okay.
And another requirement is visible moisture must be to use it. Okay, after minus 40 degree, you don't need to run it because ice formation not okay after minus 40.
Exactly.
Okay. However, if you try to descend from a final flight level, I am talking about for Boeing, you can immediately open your engine anti-ices. It doesn't matter below minus 40 degree or not.
No, we don't use it below minus 40. It's pointless. What
Yeah,
then?
pointless, but yeah.
What they usually do is 2 minutes before you enter into clouds, they switch it off. So in your descent, when you see the clouds there in front, you kind of judge it, you know, like 2 minutes before you switch your engine anti-ice on, if you need to.
Another thing, again, for winter operations, without window heat, okay?
Because it's auto.
Yeah, it is generally auto. If you want to use manual, you can start it until engine start. After that, you need to take it auto as well.
Yes.
These are the information I have given to you. The thing is, you need to pay for it. There is no free information.
Hakan.
Yes.
You're like one of these window washers. You stop at the traffic light and then they start washing your windscreen of your car. No one asked for the information. No one asked for it, so nobody's going to pay you. See, nobody asked them to wash your windscreen.
Yeah, I understand. But is it same in the South Africa, someone washing your car's windshield?
Yeah, they drive us nuts sometimes.
Yeah, it is same in Turkey as well. But the thing is, I give money them.
Yeah. No, if I didn't ask for it, I'm not paying. Especially if I told you no, I don't want it, and you still go and wash my windscreen, then you should learn.
Yeah, I'm kidding. Yeah, Nico. Of course, there is no information. There is no need to money. The money for me.
Gotcha. Wait. Anthony and Uncle John, you guys need to separate yourselves, eh? Or you're going to have to use different runways because you're right on top of each other. Sorry, go Hakan.
If you want anti-ice procedure, I can say.
No, it's fine. It's not a problem.
Okay, it is pretty simple. First of all, there are two choices. One of them is in the gate anti-icing, de-icing. Another one is in the place, in the special place anti-icing, de-icing. If you want to go to special place, you don't need to take off configuration your airplane until taking de-icing service. When you go there, when you reach the de-icing area, you should do something. One of them is engine bleeds must be off for both engines, and also APU bleed master off. Okay, I don't know whether it is available in Boeing or not. There is a section to prevent the leakage of the fluid to the airplane, which is called ditching. Ditching must be on in Airbus. I don't know for Boeing. Okay?
I don't think Boeing does ditching.
Yeah. After completing under these circumstances the anti-icing issue, you need to wait a little bit because of fluid. Okay? Fluid must be down. After that, you can turn the airplane to normal operation. You can prepare for you can prepare for takeoff like ordinary way. After a point, there is another important point. For example, you are landing in the frozen condition, okay? After landing, you don't retract your flaps and slats because ice formation check must be done by the ground team on the gate, in the gate, at the gate. I don't know which one is the right, at the gate, okay? In this case, for Airbus I am talking about, you need to use blue hydraulic system. That means when you reach the gate, you need to shut your engines off. In order to retract the flaps and slats back without running the engine and APU, you need to use blue hydraulic section, which is top above to on the overhead panel. For your information, this information is also free.
Thank you, Hakan. Well,
You're
I'm busy
welcome.
descending. So gotta keep our eyes now on the airport. I hope we don't get ATCs now at the very number 9 last bit of the flight. I see we've got a few guys on the ground there. Chaps.
Hakan, that's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Hope you're well, brother. And I also heard there's some cleanup in the area. Hope you're not affected with that earthquake recently.
You're welcome, man. But I am going to ask a question to Nico. He can explain us summer operation.
Summer operation as a flight simmer. It's very easy.
Yes.
You
Yes.
go, you export your flight plan, you import it into company route, you start the APU, you push back, start engines, taxi, take off, fly, land, switch off everything, go home. That's normal operation in the summer.
If airport is above 10,000 feet.
No, then you have to look at density, altitude, and things. We can do a flight like that, and I'll explain. Because then you have to use your special pressurization system, and there's certain things you have to take into consideration, which is not important right now.
Okay. Thank you very much. Another question. How old are you, Nico?
Me, I'm 9.
Yes.
I'm 9.
9. Okay,
9,
good.
yes. I'm going on
Did
10
you
now.
see what kind of question if you ask to Nico, he is responding?
Yeah, I try and answer as much as I can when I can.
Yeah. Anyway, I am going to be mature right now. Switch mature mode on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Uncle John's assistants in its own electronic one? I will buy one of them, and it is going to remind me how can switch mature mode on.
Anthony and Uncle John, are you guys back now? Are you here?
Yeah, I see we
You're on top of each other on the map, so you're very
basically
close.
we 2,000 feet separation, but we are basically swapping. We're playing cards in the air.
Oh, do you want me to slow up or speed up?
No. You took off before me, so you. But I see, I got a tailwind. You don't have a tailwind. You've got a wind coming in from the left. That's probably why I caught up to you.
Well, I'm easy. I'll either slow down, speed up, whatever.
No, speed up.
I'll speed up then.
Nico, can I
Might
ask
as well
Nice.
slow down a bit.
I haven't got that far before top of descent.
Shoot.
do you see the speed tape? It's actually down. At which point would you put, 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 your hand on the speed brake lever to maintain that.
When
Or is it
you're
too
more,
early now?
when you're more than 10 knots faster, it's a good idea to, than where your target speed is. It's a good idea to pull it back. Okay. Generally, VNAV should handle everything above 10,000 feet. You hardly ever pull that lever. You're not supposed to really, because above 10,000 foot, there's no speed restriction. You just let it go. As long as you don't go over VNE, then you're going to have a problem, because then you're going to have to write the report, and then this and that and the other. So just watch VNE or 10 knots. I've got my Zibo set for 10 knots plus and 10 knots minus. So if it goes below the value and it hits the 10 knot below the indicated or required speed, it will spool up the engines. If it goes, on the other side of the scale, it needs to slow down. So VNAV above 10,000 feet should handle it, but under 10,000, you need to use the speed brake when you need to use it.
Under 10,000, okay. And there's nothing PMDG specific setup that this can be replicated?
Hold on.
Because I recently flew a flight from Melbourne to Sydney with work, and I was quite high, and I did see the speed brakes coming up. I love to sit on this window seat, so I did see the speed brakes, and it was quite high. So I'm just concerned, unless ATC has given some specific instructions or specific speed levels or any flight levels that may have caused it.
Hello, SK-san. Okay, my daughter has just come and now she wants me in the middle of my stream to come and help her do homework. So I said to her she must come back in a few minutes, then I'll help her. So I missed everything you said just now, Christian.
Oh, I'm so sorry. No, you go ahead and you can help.
I'm finished with her. She's now very, very angry at me because I don't just stop my stream and help her. And anyway, she's just got to.
Oh, it's okay. She's more important. That's right. The question was, it's okay. The question was, I was flying for business trip, and I did see the plane deploy the speed brakes during high-level flight, and then back again. I'm not sure if that was for ATC speed restrictions or flight level changes, but I did see that happen high level in flight, and I did feel a very sharp, vibration, heavy.
Yeah,
wind.
the speed brake will never deploy automatically except on the ground when it's got the weight on wheels trigger tripped. Okay, so it will have to be a pilot that pulls it.
It was a pilot intervention,
Yeah,
I did see that. It must have been high or something, or ATC requested or something. Why would that pilot put that speed brake during flight?
Well, a couple of things can happen. There's a very famous incident with a South African Airways Airbus. I think it was over the Alps. They flew from South Africa up north somewhere, and over the Alps they had a gust of wind come from behind that kicked them literally into VNE. They went into the red, and they had to pull the speed brake. Now immediately in the aircraft it gets logged and the information gets sent back to base. So the pilots had to appear on the red carpet and come and explain what happened, why, what did you do, what not, all those things. Now in a situation like that, you're not going to think twice to pull that speed brake lever. You want to get out of VNE, that area, that red band, as soon as you possibly can.
So what altitude did you say we can pull it?
Well, you can pull it at any altitude. I can pull it right now if I want, but in general, above 10,000, you shouldn't have to pull it because your VNAV should take care of your speed. You understand? So above 10,000, I hardly ever pull it, but if I have to, then I do it. But below 10,000, you've got to be very careful because you've got the 250 knot speed restriction that you need to adhere to, and if there are any restrictions on your star, you need to obviously adhere to them. The only way to brake is to pull the speed brake. You have to pull it. You know,
I recall it was very uncomfortable, very bumpy.
Yes, of course.
Very bumpy.
Yeah, now if you've got turbulent weather, look, the air is just a different form of water. Okay, if you can imagine the ocean, you're a boat on the ocean. You know, and if there's a big wave that comes and it pushes you into a place where you don't want to be, you've got to counter it. You've got to counter steer. You've got to pull the brake. You've got to do what you need to do. You know, the air is literally just another form of water. So
Yeah, in this case, in order not to use speed brake, you can start descending just before coming to top of descent.
yeah, there are a couple of things you can do. You can use the descent now button in the Boeing, and you will go to a steady 1,000 foot descent until it catches up with the VNAV path. That's one way.
Or could you use the speed intervent button?
The speed intervent button, you can, but if you, let's say for instance, we are now flying indicated to 67 and Mach 5.57, right? If I press the speed intervent button, it's going to open up where I am right now. So for me, I mean, anybody of you, you'll have to now, you know, reduce it manually. See, and it's going to take some time. If you keep on looking at my stream, look, there's a hell of a difference between where we are and where we want to be. And the only way to get there is to pull the speed brake. You see there, I have to pull the speed brake. Otherwise, to bleed off the speed during a descent is going to take for freaking ever. See?
Or vertical speed to contemplate?
You can do vertical speed, but I don't know. For me, it's easier. I use 220 and level change if I have to do a high-speed dive. But in this case, I'm not required to do a high-speed descent. So, I mean, I just reduced the speed and I use my speed.
John, what I found sometimes using VNAV is perfectly fine until...
Sorry, guys, you speak over each other. Christian, ask again.
Sorry, I was going to say, coming into Canberra, coming from Brisbane, I was really good on the VNAV. Then all of a sudden, the VNAV went down to up speed, and then, I have to use a speed brake. Whereas if I used the speed intervent button, I would have a nice descent.
Well, of course. It's a different level of automation. Opening the speed window does not change the VNAV, capabilities. You're still in VNAV. You're just managing the speed. So it's all up to you in the situation we are. That's what makes a good pilot. If you can read the situation and act appropriately to give your passengers a comfortable ride, wonderful.
Sorry, Uncle John. Sorry, go ahead. I spoke over you. Sorry, my apologies.
I'm just letting Anthony know I'm doing a 360. I don't like being that close.
Exactly, SK-san. Exactly. That's what you have to do. Now,
go ahead.
What I wanted to say is that incident with that pilot of South African Airways actually became an international embarrassment, and not because he did anything wrong, but because the wrong people with the wrong knowledge heard about it, and then they started talking smack about the poor guy. And it took a few months for it to die down. People hated that guy because of absolute stupid ignorance. It's a silly time in our history.
If you don't want to struggle with such problems with your airplane, don't fly. Yeah.
I'm just noticing a lot of these real-world pilots on stream. They use vertical speed and speed intervent and all that. So it's just becoming the norm.
It all depends on who trained them, Christian. It depends on who trained them, especially when the instructor is an older man or woman. Okay, the older generation have their way of doing it. The middle generation have their way of doing it, and the children of the magenta line have their way of doing it. All depends on who taught you. It's not got anything to do with anything else. Obviously, all the different levels of automation is available. So this aircraft, this Boeing, or Airbus even, I suppose, can cater for different generations of users. Just one of those things.
The thing is, everything is obvious. Structural limits and the other limitations are already defined, but it doesn't matter which generation training you need to obey the rules. That's it.
Yeah, we understand that in terms of the structure and the speed and all those things. But in terms of your vertical and lateral guidance. You know, some people fly one way, some people fly a different way, and it always comes back to who trained you. You know, if your instructor is this old grey-haired, old grumpy old man that was sucking green persimmons the whole day, you're gonna fly like him. You know, if it is a ex-fighter pilot, you're gonna fly like him. If it is, you know, someone else, it all depends on who taught you.
Okay, for example, you are captain and first officer. I found your mistake with your habits until today, and I'm going to warn you. Hey, sir, you are flying like this, but limitations doesn't give you such a chance to do that. What you gonna do that to first officer? CRM question.
Well, if you were any way worth your salt as a captain, you're gonna listen to him, you're gonna debate him, and you're going to adjust if you have to, or you're going to train the first officer to adjust to what you did, if you have merit in what you did. If there is merit, you know, but there's no point in fighting with each other. Look, I've seen it a few times, where captains and first officers have like cat fights in that cockpit. You know, it happens. Some of them want to physically assault each other because of a disagreement. It's happened. It's documented. You can go Google some of them. You know, it happens, and some people just can't work together.
Yeah. The thing is, they must listen to third person who are not in the cockpit, who are engineers and technicians.
That's also limited, because the engineer can't tell the pilot how to fly it, but they can tell them about the MEL or the whatever list that they've got there, or the state of the aircraft and stuff like that. But I mean, what the heck? Ouch! Just change this.
Nico, just on the topic of the electronic flight bag, I should say, for your performance landing. I noticed dry is good. Sorry, dry is excellent, and if it's a wet or contaminated, it's good in terms of Ryanair procedures. Is that something Zibo has taken into consideration when doing the performance calculation for landing?
I'm not sure. I really don't know to which level he actually did that performance calculations. I have not spoken to him about it in 2 years at least.
Nico, this is a comprehensive question and comprehensive answer. This is not related to only ice and only contamination, something like that. It is about the temperature a little bit and formation of the water and also air. So there are different types of level for runways in order to keep them dry to poor. Okay, dry is the best one, but until poor, there are too much different parameters you need to consider for your landing performance. Okay, it depends on the weather actually very well, and also traffics and runway conditions. It is not easy question, by the way.
Yeah.
And there is no easy answer for that question.
It comes with training and understanding.
What?
Yeah.
It comes with training and understanding.
Am I teach you? You mean?
Yeah, they'll teach you, and you have to read a lot. It's part of your training. They're gonna train you how to handle it.
Yeah.
Nico, what? So you're doing a auto brake 3 landing?
Well, I don't use auto brake 3 unless I really have to, because if you do auto brake 3 landing, you have to be on the ground for 30 minutes to cool the brakes down.
The cooling brakes, timing. Yeah.
The thing is, the runway must be short considering with your weight and speed and contamination and how you are landing. This is, I mean, speed brake 3 means, I mean, in Airbus speed brake max, you cannot pick up while you are in the air. You can pick maximum medium brake for Airbus.
Yes.
When you on ground, you will realize that you are not going to stop. Then you can max it. The other thing for rejected takeoff issue, if you realize that before taking off, Boeing getting it to RTO, Airbus is taking it to MAX. Above 100 knots on the ground and below V1 limit. If you reject the takeoff, maximum brake will be applied by the brakes because you have chosen RTO in Boeing, maximum in Airbus.
Yeah.
Okay, Nico, can I ask you a quick question with regards to shortcuts, just in case ATC come online? I don't expect them to, but
Yeah.
if they do come online, they give you a shortcut. What can we do on the FMC there to calculate for the altitude?
Well, the only thing that you can do is one of two things. Either you go to your legs page, you go find the shortcut, put it in the scratch pad, put it at the top, execute, there's execute it and then just follow it, or you type it in. If it's not in your plan, you have to type in the actual thing, put it at the top, execute it, and then you're good to go. The moment you do that,
Do I need to update the flight levels?
no. The moment you do that, it should recalculate VNAV path.
What about if it was to plan for a shortcut? Would that be a different scenario?
No, if you plan for a shortcut, you go to the legs page because then it will obviously be in your legs, and all you do is you just make sure you put it at the top and execute it. The moment you do that, the system will recalculate your top of descents or whatever else you need, your V-speeds, your VNAV profile, everything will be recalculated immediately.
Hakan, is that with the Airbus as well?
I'm working with Airbus, but I want to give you information about your previous question, which is related to runway conditions. Please take a note. RCAM, Runway Condition Assessment Matrix. You need to read that because there is a table. You can understand what I wanted to say a few minutes ago to you.
Okay.
Okay? At first, it is written by me in the world. After brothers.
All right. Okay. Well, here's now a practical example, right? So my indicated airspeed is 238, 239. Now it's 240. So it varies a little bit, but the system wants it at 220. So the only way for me to get there is to pull my speed brake, or I need to leave it to bleed off, which is a chance I'm taking,
You've got plenty of distance now, Anthony.
Nico,
Yes,
I noticed
thanks.
737 uses the rings. I'm not sure if you use that as well.
I
So
don't use it. No, I use it for training purposes. I don't need it.
Oh, okay.
I honestly don't
That,
need it.
what is that, Nico?
The fixed rings.
Hey?
Fixed rings.
Fixed rings. By what I think it's like the first ring is a 10 nautical mile final, which we need to be flaps 5. The other ring is a 4 nautical mile final for
Okay.
flaps 15 gear down.
Which is called in fixed info in Airbus, general circle to land approach and some poor approach situations. You need to use that, or sometimes runway extension line.
I'll put the runway fix, runway.
Yeah.
Runway. No,
Yeah.
it's a runway
can-
instead of the fixed tick set. Put the runway.
Yeah,
So
and
runway-
also you can use it for descending range.
No,
You can.
I think the fix should be the runway.
It all depends,
Yeah.
Christian. It all depends. When we train the
it
guys,
depends what
when we train the guys, we use what I just did. We use the final approach
Okay.
fix. The reason
I
is
see. Okay.
you need to
Sorry.
be stable. When you are proficient and you've got a couple of thousand hours under your belt, you can use the runway because the real pilots
Okay.
use the runway. But when we train the new pilots, there's not enough time for them to get the aircraft stable in
Gotcha,
time.
gotcha,
That's why we use this. We use the final approach fix.
I understand.
For
Okay, so
example-
it's new to me. All right.
Yeah, it is recommended that instead of using fix info, you can use secondary flight plan for under some circumstances.
True, you can also
Yeah.
do that. But for us,
Yeah.
this is a cheap solution to a very simple problem.
Yeah, man, don't consider us because we are master, okay? You know, this is not to do.
It's just a good reference. It's another way of looking at it. I think it's a good training point.
It is, because now I see I'm going through that point. I've got 11 nautical miles to go for touchdown. You see 11.5. So at this point in time, it's easy enough to just start configuring. And by the time you get to the last, that final approach fix, you can literally be in landing configuration and, you know, be stable for your landing.
Okay, I have a question, Nico. Wind correction. How do you do wind correction in FMC before touching down, and under which conditions you need to use it, and what's your landing speed affected?
Okay, well, it's too late for me to go into too much detail, but basically what happens is, in the FMC, in your approach reference page, you can set if you need to enhance the 5 knots, because usually it is VREF plus 5, that's your approach speed, right? So you can go and manually set it there, and it will then change for you, all right? If you are too late, obviously you have to manually compensate. But the fact of the matter remains, first of all, put it in the FMC to make sure that it gets into the calculation. Then what you have to look at is it's generally used above 10 knots of winds, and especially when you've got a gusting component. Otherwise, you don't even use it. Okay, so it's all those kind of things that need to be taken into consideration.
I just sent you a small link about the final approach for one of the real world guys, how they were doing the gusts on final. That may help.
Okie dokie.
Yeah,
Actually, I know the answer, but in order to make a brainstorming, I wanted to ask a question and to get busy while he's landing, okay? Because if Nico lands better than me, I'm going to be jealous. I need to get busy him with my stupid questions while he's landing.
Oh my!
Yeah, this is my strategy. I don't say anyone. Please don't tell Nico as well.
Nico, I think you should make a video on this. I think this is a good topic for discussion, like a short video or something, tutorial. I think that's fantastic. I would love to learn as well.
Yeah. I've got it in my plans in there. We just have to wait, see when it comes.
Members only video, hey? How come?
Yeah.
No, in all seriousness, I think that's a good point. I do like that idea. But I actually use
Copenhagen traffic Skymatix 001 finals runway.
That helps me with the winds and all that.
Nico, can you imagine you are in the 500 feet, the airplane warning you 5,000.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything. Listen, I need to land. Let's see if I can make Hakan cry.
You can't land.
I'm gonna make you cry just now, Hakan. I'm gonna make you cry.
We will see. You are good to be in the club this time. I see that some icy conditions.
With no icing conditions. No visible moisture.
Look at that. What about these white things on the ground?
It just means that it had some snow earlier, that's all.
I see.
I think it's probably more for departure that we need to be concerned about the icing.
No, well, if you do a go around, it's the same as a departure, so both of them are very important.
Yeah. Looking stable.
100, 30, 20, 10. Go around, Nico, go around. You cannot do that.
750 feet per minute is minimum, not more than 1,000 feet on this end.
Go around, Nico, go around. Nico, go around. You cannot land like that.
Shush, man.
I'm getting jealous. I'm getting jealous.
Oh, these pedals are so sensitive. I hate it. I'm gonna calibrate them just after the stream because this is crazy. I mean, I'm literally just touching them. Look what they're doing.
Congratulations, fantastic.
Congratulations, very good. It was good.
But he cannot stop.
Well, it is minus 147 foot per minute.
Yeah.
Landing rate here in my ACARs.
Smooth landing. Butter. I see. Why have you chosen this airport for landing? The runway is long.
That was a good landing. I told you, Hakan, I was going to make you cry.
Yeah, I'm crying. I cannot sleep tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Pilot and Tommy there. Thank you. Pilot, what's your real name? You can PM me if you don't want to put it there, just as a matter of interest. Yeah, shame. No, Kev, thank you, man. Yeah, I tell you what, that was absolutely amazing. Eye-watering stuff.
Is this payware or default? Because it looks really cool. Very good.
I think this is payware.
Okay.
Right, so the formalities. I've got the entry-level Thrustmaster baby pedals. I don't even know what you call them, but it's something
TFRP.
Huh?
Thrustmaster TFRP.
I don't know. It's the
I know.
baby
I tell you. I know.
Okay.
I tell you.
Right. So what basically happens is every now and then it's like it just loses its calibration. Then I have to go and redo it because it's crazy. You can't land like this or taxi like this. It's just too much. Copenhagen traffic Skymatix runway vacated.
On the overhead panel.
Sorry, say again?
There was a clicking noise that's been reported if you hit the overhead panel. So on above the IRS and not the PA, was it the com above the IRS?
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's been fixed.
No idea.
Okay, once you hit that, there was a clicking noise, and then if you hit the PA, it's been cleared. There's an issue identified. I found out. Not sure if you've still experienced that in this mod.
I don't know. No idea. I'm on the latest model, so if it's fixed, it will be fixed. If it's not, it's not.
Turning for finals, John.
Enjoy, Andrew.
So is any add-ons that are compatible, not compatible, that we shouldn't be using, that you should
don't use any explain. Don't use any explain 11 stuff. Just make sure whatever plugin you have is actually for explain 12. That's all.
Okay. Like X-rays and all that. That's okay.
Thank you, Tommy. You have a good rest of your Sunday as well.
Skymatix pilot says that, Nico, I can't get my weather radar to work.
Right. You need to make sure that XHSI or ZHSI is switched off in the EFB, and all you do is you press the weather button like that. That's it. That's all it is. In the 2020 sim, it doesn't work, but I suppose we're talking explain. So as long as you don't have interference from that XHSI, ZHSI add-on, because of your setting in your EFB, all you do is you click Weather XR there. You click that button, it will tell you it's on. That's all it is.
Thank you for the kind stream and sharing your thoughts. Really good.
No worries.
Look, I have given lots of information to you.
Yes,
Chris.
Oh, yes.
Do you know what is
Yes,
rank
sir.
my EVO? My rank is student pilot 3.
Fantastic.
That
Good on
means
you.
I am still student.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I am always student. I am not first of.
I only wrote one exam in IVAO and a couple in VATSIM, but I've never worried about things like that, honestly.
Well, I wish you all the best, sir. You have much to go, and I'm a center controller in the VATPAC division. But I know what you've gone through, sir, and yeah, I'm still learning myself. So congratulations to you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
And Nico, please come to Australia and we'll hopefully provide some VAT sim experience, and I'm
We'll-
happy to share that.
We'll
And,
try it. Yeah, we'll try it one
thank
day.
you. Hakan as well, please. Also, thank you.
Righto. Okay, so it means we are done. We can now wait for the other guys. Okay, so Skymatix pilot. I hope what I said helps, because it doesn't matter explain 11, explain 12, they all work the same. Obviously, there has to be weather for it to show. It's not going to show anything. It's just like the terrain radar. If there's nothing to show, there's nothing to show. You can't do anything about it.
Look at the sun. Wow, fantastic. I'm going to be in Alaska.
Nico, are you using GSX Pro for any ground services? Or
I don't have
what are
any.
you?
I don't have any ground services.
Okay.
Ground services. Doko. Delicious.
Right, okay. Just need to make sure everything is fine.
Perfect parking.
There's Anthony coming. And Uncle John should be shortly behind.
It took a while for me to get used to the controls for 2020. Coming
Yeah,
on,
it's
fine.
so strange, man. It's so strange.
Yeah, I'm scared to go to X-Plane after 4 years in X-Plane.
I really want to be
I-
there in case
I
he
don't mind it,
lands.
actually. The only problem I have is I just don't like that there's no replay. You have to like click a certain stage to record, and then you can replay the replay.
I've got a little payware thing that I got from some market
Oh,
way back from P3D days that actually I can use to do replays, but I inevitably forget to start it before the flight. So
so you have to start it. Oh, that's interesting. I'd love to know what it is, because I think there's some sort of add-on that you can use to
well,
enable.
it's called Flight Replay. I think I'll show you just now.
The best one's supposed to be Sky Dolly.
I don't know. This is called Flight Control Replay. That's what it's called.
Flight control.
I'll quickly put it here on the screen.
Yeah, put in the link.
That's it.
I'll have a look at it.
I don't have a link now.
Oh,
But
you don't? Okay,
that's
I'll look it up on Google.
Flight
What was
Control
the name?
Replay.
Flight
Flight
control.
Control Replay. Pity with the drone we can't zoom in, you know?
SimMark could have it, yeah. What are they going for? They're going for €20.
Sky Dolly's free.
Sky Dolly. I've never even heard of that, Rab.
It's the honestly, it tells you it's the best replay tool for 2020.
Serious?
What was the name? Sky Dolly.
Yep.
That's the thing. It's not regulated. This industry, so everyone can come up with their own thing. I'm not sure if it's good or not.
And
This
he's
one's from
landed.
GitHub.
Here we go.
Sky Dolly's on GitHub. Is that what you're referring to?
Aye.
Yeah, they're active, John.
There's his lights. He's coming.
Hakan?
That's the second time on the phone. Yes, I'm back. Who is called me?
Sorry, do you use any replay software that you have for your
Yes,
simulator?
yes, I am. Flight
Do
control
you have-
replay, which is called flight control replay.
Ah. So that's payware, as exactly as Nico mentioned. Actually, no, that's for prepared 3D.
No, it's same. It
Oh,
does. You must just
oh,
get
it's
the one for MSFS. I think it's the same thing. The compatibility has changed, so they've added. Just make sure you buy one that actually says that. You know, it's for the.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. $100.
And and if you had any issues with it, do you recommend it? Any problems?
No problem.
It's okay, but I've used it like 3 times in all my life. Like
Oh,
I constantly forget to start it because you obviously have to let it record your flight so that it has got a point of reference to go back to actually replay. You know,
And you
and
started prior to approach, or you started during your flight? How
no,
which
I've
point
started.
have you
You can start it any time, but the last 2 times I've tried it, I started, before the flight, because then it
Right.
records the whole thing. It's a small text file. It doesn't take much space, and you can delete the file afterwards if you're done.
Right. So it doesn't take like gigabits of video recording during the whole
No,
3-hour
nothing.
flight.
There's no video recording whatsoever.
Okay. All right, thank you. I'll look into that. So you're waiting now for the aircraft arrival. I love the snow. That's MS-20, isn't it? 2020.
Yes.
That looks lovely. Looks lovely. And obviously no orthos or anything like that because it's old orthos.
Well, 2020 comes with its own stuff, so whatever they've put in here.
Yeah, you need to use Rex as well for enhancing to your ground
Oh,
texture.
how can you using Rex?
Yes.
I thought that was only for clouds.
No, it is only not clouds. It is also for runways, seasons, and also weather for Microsoft Flight Simulator. There is a bundle package, which is for rich, not for us. You can buy 3 of them at the same time.
Well, there you go. I never knew that. Now I'm confused. Should I thought it had its own weather engine.
No. It's something else. It's not really a weather engine. I don't know exactly what it is.
It is a kind of weather engine, which is
Is
called,
it?
let me tell you, yeah.
But does it generate and put clouds and everything?
To make realistic and simultaneous with the real life. Weather Force, which is called,
Textures,
which is called Weather Force.
Yeah.
Rex Weather Force. Don't forget the bundle. You need to buy bundle.
There's Uncle John landing. Whoops.
And does it make a difference from the default MS-20 compared to the Rex?
Yes, exactly.
You think it's worthwhile?
Well, I think it is optional, of course, but I believe that it is making better.
Well, I use EVADI 2020 and I'm happy with it. You can see all my streams in 2020 uses EVADI 2020. I love having this.
I found Exenvaro because I purchased it. I found the clouds VFR did not match exactly what was real world, in my opinion. I didn't find it accurate, to my opinion, unless it's been updated.
No, it's been updated many times.
Okay.
There's not many engines that can compete with it now.
Because the 737 NG driver done a review of it for 2020, said it's not realistic. So I found the same thing because I purchased it before he done it, and I found the same thing, unless it's been updated. So.
Yeah, there's Magnus talking to you. He says if you have any discrepancies, you need to report it to support so they can fix it. Because the whole idea of Exenviro is to be as accurate as humanly possible. And I must be honest with you, there's been very few times it has disappointed me. Very few times. It works, man. It really works very well. Anyway, I saw that video of that pilot you referred to, and I was not impressed with his review of it at all. It was really a letdown.
That's a shame.
Yeah. You remember that was just his opinion, and it's like me talking here. It's my opinion, but I mean, just like you can see all my stuff on my streams. You can see what it looks like. Judge for yourself.
Hey,
have you ever done any real world flights on the Cessna or any lessons? Have you done anything?
Many times.
So can you compare that weather visualization with Rex? Does that reflect?
I think I'm happy with Rex. I cannot say something different. The clouds are good, but simultaneously same weather conditions you obtain, and it is very useful tool for obtaining realistic and historical weather data. So I think valuable one.
Are you referring to Microsoft 2020 or is it Explain?
Microsoft 2020. I'm not
Okay.
talking about to Explain.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll definitely look into it. Yeah.
Welcome, Anthony. Welcome, Uncle John. Thank you for flying with Jen. Sorry I was so late, but it was a good lazy morning for me.
What do you think about PMDG, Nico? Are you happy with it? Satisfied?
Yeah, at this point in time, it's okay.
Okay. What about MTL issue? Any news after 1.5 weeks?
No, there's no news. I'm waiting for the guys to come back. George, as far as I know, is on holiday. So when he's back, he's in South America right now. When he's back, we can talk to him again.
Okay, he's in holiday.
Okay. Hakan, what do you fly these days? Explain or Microsoft 2020?
Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I have very good reasons for it because Explain TVAF requires time to make a mature itself. Because there are lots of bugs as far as I'm concerned in this group, in Skymatix. It is not stable yet, but Microsoft Flight Simulator is stable. I can say that there is no any clash, something like that.
Okay, gents, well, I'm done. And Uncle John, did you take your picture?
Not yet, Nico. Give me a sec.
Thank you, Skymatix pilot, and always a pleasure having everybody here. Guys, I see the numbers have dwindled quite a bit. It's amazing off Thailand. You just see all the guys leave, it's like, there was the highlight. It's over now. So anyway, guys, have a good rest of your Sunday. Sorry. We will talk again later. I've got a couple of things to do, so I'm going to knock off now.
Don't forget to donate.